Have you ever wasted your energy on people who never cared for you? What if the battle you're fighting is not yours to win? In an old village, where the streets were narrow and the houses leaned as if they carried the weight of centuries, a young man named Alex lived alone. His small apartment was simple, quiet, and filled with the faint smell of old wood and dust. Alex sat alone in his small apartment, staring at the empty walls. Have you ever spent your life fighting for people who never cared about you? Have you ever given your all, only to feel invisible in return? That was Alex every day. He had always been the helper. At work, he stayed late to finish tasks for his team. At home, he lent money and time to friends who never returned the favor. He fought for his family, often putting their needs above his own. Alex believed he was doing the right thing. He thought loyalty and effort would be noticed and appreciated. But slowly, the truth hit him like a punch in the gut. Some people never cared. Yesterday had been the worst. One of his closest colleagues had promised to back him on a big project. Alex stayed up all night preparing the presentation. He double-checked every number, every slide, every word. When the meeting came, his colleague took all the credit and left Alex in the shadows. The betrayal burned like fire. He thought of Thomas Edison. The man had failed thousands of times before inventing the light bulb. Edison had kept trying, not giving up on his vision. Alex wondered if he had been trying for the wrong people all along. Was he wasting his energy on those who would never value it? His phone buzzed with a message from a friend asking for help. His old instinct was to say yes immediately. He wanted to be the good friend, the loyal helper, the strong shoulder. But a small voice inside whispered, "Maybe it is time to stop." Alex leaned back and closed his eyes. He could feel the weight of every person he had fought for, who never fought for him. He felt tired, angry, and empty all at once. It was not just the work or the late nights or the money he had spent. It was the feeling of being invisible, of being used. He remembered a story he once read about J.K. Rowling. She had been rejected by dozens of publishers before one finally accepted her book. She had fought for her dreams, not for people who didn't care. She believed in herself when no one else did. Alex opened his eyes. The message on his phone was still there. It was a simple question. "Can you help me with this problem?" Normally he would have jumped in, but now he paused. He felt fear and guilt rise inside him. Could he finally stop? Could he really say no to someone who always expected him to be there? His hand hovered over the phone. He knew whatever decision he made next would change everything. Suddenly the apartment door creaked. Someone was there outside. Alex froze. He had not invited anyone. Who could it be at this hour? Alex slowly got up from his chair, his heart pounding. The knocking on the door came again, louder this time. He peeked through the peephole but saw no one. A cold shiver ran down his spine. The hallway was empty. He turned back to the phone, still glowing on the table. The message was simple. "Can you help me?" His old self wanted to reply immediately. He wanted to be the loyal friend, the one everyone depended on. But he remembered the betrayal at work, the times people had used him and left him alone. Alex took a deep breath. Maybe it was time to focus on himself. He thought about Elon Musk, who invested his time and energy into ideas that mattered most to him. Musk did not waste energy on people who did not support his vision. Alex realized that helping the wrong people was draining him, stopping him from building his own future. The knocking came again, this time from the window. Alex jumped back. The curtains moved slightly, but no shadow appeared. He felt fear rising inside him. His apartment suddenly felt smaller, darker. He was not sure if it was the building settling or something else. He remembered a lesson from his own life. Every time he had helped someone who did not care, he ended up worse off. His kindness had been mistaken for weakness. His loyalty had been used as a tool against him. He wanted to help, but he could no longer give without thought. He needed boundaries. Alex finally picked up the phone. He typed a message and paused. Should he say yes or no? His fingers trembled. Saying no felt wrong, but saying yes could mean another betrayal. He thought of Oprah Winfrey. She had said no to many opportunities that did not serve her vision. She focused on what mattered most and trusted her instincts. Alex put the phone down. He would not reply immediately. He would think. For the first time in a long time, he felt a strange sense of control. He was no longer the person who reacted to every demand. He was learning to protect himself, to value his own energy. The knocking stopped. Silence filled the apartment. Alex felt a small relief, but the tension remained. He walked to the window and looked outside. The street was empty. Everything seemed normal, yet his gut told him something was off. Suddenly, the lights flickered. The apartment went dark for a moment and then came back on. Alex's heart raced. He felt like he was on the edge of a decision that could change everything. He turned around and froze. On the living room floor, by the table where the phone lay, there was a small envelope. No name, no note, just an envelope lying there. Alex bent down slowly, unsure who had left it or what it could mean. When he opened it, his eyes widened. Inside was a single piece of paper with a message he never expected to see. Alex stared at the paper in his hands. The message was short, sharp, and shocking. You are wasting your life on the wrong people. Choose yourself, or lose everything. His heart pounded. It felt like someone had finally spoken the truth he had been avoiding. He sank into the chair, his mind racing. How many years had he given to people who never cared? How many nights had he stayed awake worrying about others while his own life slipped away? He remembered every betrayal, every broken promise, every time someone took his help for granted. The memories cut deep. Alex thought about J.K. Rowling. She had been rejected over and over, struggling alone, and yet she never stopped believing in herself. She fought for her dreams, not for people who would never value her. Her resilience had changed her life. Alex realized he needed the same courage. He got up and walked to the window, looking at the city lights. The streets below were busy, full of people chasing their own lives. He realized he had been chasing other people's approval instead of his own path. He felt anger, shame, and a strange hope at the same time. Alex decided to take action. He would stop helping people who drained him. He would stop giving energy to those who never gave back. He would focus on his growth, his skills, and his future. The first step was the hardest, saying no to a friend who had depended on him for years. His phone buzzed again. It was the same friend from yesterday. I need you tonight. Please don't let me handle this alone. Alex stared at the message. The old guilt surged. He wanted to respond immediately, but he remembered the envelope and its message. He took a deep breath and typed, I cannot help, you have to handle this yourself. Silence followed. His chest tightened. For the first time, he felt the fear of losing someone important. But there was also relief. He had drawn a line. He had finally chosen himself. The next day, Alex started small. He read books, exercised, and worked on projects he had ignored for years. He felt the change slowly. Energy he had lost returned. Confidence grew. He realized that when he focused on the right things, the right people naturally came into his life. But not everyone was happy. That night, someone knocked on his door. Alex froze. It was not the usual late-night visitor. The knock was forceful, insistent. He peeked through the peephole and saw a stranger. The stranger held an envelope, identical to the one he had received yesterday. Alex's hands shook as he opened the door. Before he could speak, the stranger whispered, You are being tested. They will not let you go easily. Alex stepped back, his heart racing. His apartment suddenly felt like a battlefield. He had chosen himself, but now he realized the fight was far from over. Alex's hands shook as he took the envelope from the stranger. The message inside was even more chilling than the first. They will test your loyalty again. Stand firm or lose yourself. Alex's heart raced. Who were these people? Why were they watching him? He had already chosen himself. Why was it not enough? The next morning, Alex received a call from a colleague he had helped countless times. The colleague was in trouble, needing urgent assistance. Normally, Alex would have dropped everything to help. His old habits were hard to break. He felt guilt and fear rising inside him. If he refused, he could lose respect. If he helped, he could lose himself again. He remembered Elon Musk, who had once risked everything on projects that mattered most. Musk focused on what truly counted and ignored distractions. Alex realized this was his test. He could not give energy to those who would never respect his limits. Alex took a deep breath. He replied, "You need to handle this yourself. I cannot help this time." Immediately the line went silent. The silence felt heavier than words. He knew he had made the right decision, but the fear of consequences gnawed at him. Hours passed. Alex worked on his own projects. He felt strength growing inside him. His time was finally his own. His focus sharpened. He realized that his energy was valuable and could no longer be wasted on the wrong people. But the night brought tension. There was a loud knock on the door. Not the soft, polite knocking of a visitor, but aggressive and unrelenting. Alex froze. He had no idea who it could be. Was it the colleague he had refused to help? Or someone else from the mysterious messages? He opened the door cautiously. The hallway was empty. Alex's mind raced. He felt panic rising. The envelope from yesterday lay on the floor again. He bent down slowly, unsure if it was a trick or a warning. Inside was a single card with one word written in bold letters. Choice. Alex felt sweat on his forehead. He understood the meaning. Every decision he made now had consequences. Every boundary he set could be challenged. Choosing himself was not simple. It would be tested repeatedly. Suddenly, he heard footsteps behind him. Heavy, fast, approaching. Alex spun around, but no one was there. The apartment felt alive, watching him, waiting. Fear and determination fought inside him. He could not run. He could not ignore it. Alex's phone buzzed again. A new message. It was from an unknown number. The text read, "Tonight you will face them. Be ready. They will demand everything you have given away. Will you fight or break?" Alex's heart pounded. He had never felt more alive and terrified at the same time. This was the moment that would define him. He clenched his fists. He had chosen himself, but now he had to prove it. The lights in the apartment flickered and went out completely. Alex stood in darkness, waiting, listening. He heard a faint whisper behind him saying his name. Alex stood in the dark apartment, his heart racing. The whispering had stopped. Silence stretched around him, heavy and tense. He remembered every betrayal, every time he had given too much and received nothing. Tonight, he realized, was the final test. He took a deep breath. He had chosen himself before, and he would do it again. He turned on his phone's flashlight and scanned the room. The envelopes were gone. The messages had stopped. The pressure in the room lifted slightly, but he knew the lesson was not over. Alex thought about Oprah Winfrey. She had faced countless people who doubted her, who tried to break her spirit. She chose herself, worked hard, and built her life from nothing. Alex felt a spark of courage. He was ready to face whatever challenge came next. The next morning he went outside into the city. He felt lighter, stronger. He no longer looked to please everyone or fight for people who would never fight for him. Every step he took was his own. He focused on his work, his dreams, and the people who truly valued him. Weeks passed. Alex's life started to change. Colleagues who had ignored him before began to notice his efforts. Friends who had taken advantage left, but new friends arrived, ones who respected him and his boundaries. Alex finally understood the power of choosing himself first. He also learned patience. Growth did not happen overnight. He remembered Thomas Edison, who had failed thousands of times before achieving his goal. Alex faced small failures daily but continued to stand firm. Every no he gave to the wrong people built a stronger foundation for his life. One evening, Alex received a call from an old friend who had once used him. The friend apologized sincerely. Alex listened quietly. He realized forgiveness did not mean going back to old ways. He could forgive and still protect himself. He smiled and hung up. Alex sat by the window looking at the city lights. He felt peace he had never known. Choosing himself was not selfish. It was necessary. He had learned that his energy, time, and heart were valuable. He had learned to fight for his dreams, not for people who would never value him. Suddenly, his phone buzzed with a message. It was from an unknown number. Alex opened it slowly. The message was short, but it made his blood run cold. "You survived this test, but another is coming. Are you ready to face it?" Alex's hands trembled. He had thought the struggle was over. He had built his life, found peace, and learned his lesson. But the message reminded him that life always tested those who were brave enough to choose themselves. Alex looked out at the city, determination burning in his eyes. He had faced betrayal, fear, and doubt. He had chosen himself, and he would do it again if he had to. The phone buzzed a second time. Another message appeared. It was not just a warning this time. It was a challenge that would demand everything Alex had learned about courage, patience, and strength.